The American people have finally seen Obama liberalism for what it is. They've seen the counterfeit values that underlie it, and they want none of it. Those liberal values include spending and borrowing on behalf of my generation, even though it will bankrupt my children and grandchildren's generation. That's not our values. They believe that the rule of law should be subordinate to their view of the greater good. They believe that government knows best how to care for your health, not you, not your doctor. They believe that the rewards of success should be taken from the person who created them and given to the one that did not. They believe that workers shouldn't have the right to vote by secret ballot as to whether or not they want a union. And even though 1/2 of the children in our cities don't graduate from high school, they believe that parental choice and teacher accountability should bow to the interests of union bosses. In fact, I'm afraid that some in Washington today are driven by such different values that they would change the very character of America. Let me explain what I mean. Christmas time, I was in Walmart pushing a shopping cart buying toys for my kids. As I was waiting in the checkout line, I took a look around the store, and I said, this store reminds me of Sam Walton himself. Now, I never met Sam Walton, but I read about him and talked to people who had known him. And what I learned was that this was a man who was passionate about low prices on everything people might want, and he was somewhat impetuous. And his stores were a lot like him, at least from my point. Very low prices on tons of things that you'd possibly want. And the store isn't, well, that terribly well organized. It's not like a Target store, for instance, where everything's lined up just so. Then I thought about some other enterprises that I've come in contact with and how much their founders have shaped the way those enterprises are. Microsoft is a lot like its founder, Bill Gates, whereas Apple is a lot more like Steve Jobs. In some ways, Disneyland is like the physical embodiment of Walt Disney himself. Imaginative, creative, whimsical. Virgin Airlines, it's as irreverent and edgy as its founder, Richard Branson. I found it's not just businesses that are shaped by their founders. It's true of institutions of all kinds. Schools, universities, charities, even churches. It's also true of countries. Countries are shaped by their founders and by those who've led them, often for many centuries after they're gone. I've often imagined what it must have been like for the people who first left Europe, the very first immigrants here, to come to this country. They left behind home, family, security, and predictability in exchange for a life-threatening ocean voyage, the possibility of a hostile indigenous people, uncertain shelter, food, and climate. Some who came here sought fortune. Others sought the right to practice their religion according to the dictates of their conscience. In almost every heart, it was a strain of liberty that drew them here. Religious liberty, economic liberty, freedom to pioneer, freedom from oppression. That thirst for freedom drove these American colonists. It has been a quintessential American value from the very beginning. And then the founders who drafted the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution made a trade very much like those first colonists. They could have chosen the predictable and secure path, following the commands of the crown. They could have established their own form of monarchy, a powerful, autocratic government that would tell people what to make, where to sell it, and how much they'd earn. But instead, they chose freedom. Just as the people would be free to choose their government, they'd be free to choose their occupations and their life's course, to pursue happiness according to the dreams of their own hearts. That choice made by the founding parents has made all the difference for America. People from all over the world who prized freedom, the innovators, the pioneers, the dreamers, they came to America. This is who we are as a people. It's in our very DNA. It's this love of liberty and the accompanying spirit of invention and creativity, daring do, pioneering, that have propelled America to become the most powerful nation in the history of the world. This course for America, chosen by the founders, has been settled for over 200 years. Ours is the creed of the pioneer, the innovator, the striver, who expects no guarantee of success, but asks only to live and work in freedom. This creed, this value is under assault in Washington today. Liberals are convinced that government knows better than people how to run our businesses, how to choose winning technologies, how to manage health care, how to order our very lives. They want to gain through government takeover what they could never have achieved in the competitive economy: power and control over the people of America. If they were to succeed, they would smother the very spirit that has built the nation. The liberating, innovating, inventing, creating, God-fearing, independent current that runs from coast to coast of this great land. The Obama administration promised that they would fundamentally change the way Washington works. They misled us. They're trying to fundamentally change the way America works. And we will not let them do it. This administration doesn't lack for confidence. But confidence in yourself is not the same as confidence in your country. And believing in the power of government isn't the same as believing in the power of the governed. In a world where others have lost their liberty by trading it away for the false promises of the state, we choose to hold to our founding values. We'll stop these power seekers where they stand. We will preserve America's character as the land of liberty. We welcome those who seek and will defend freedom. We admire the entrepreneur, the inventor, the innovator. We will insist on greatness from every one of our citizens. And rather than apologizing for who we are or for what we've accomplished, we'll celebrate our nation's strength and its goodness. American patriots have defeated tyrants, liberated the oppressed, rescued the afflicted. America's model of innovation, capitalism, free enterprise has lifted literally billions of the world's poor out of poverty. America has been a force for good like no other in the world, and for that we will make no apology. Thank you so much. Great to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor.